Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do you want to master Google Forms in just minutes? In this video, I'm going to show you how to create, customize, and share your Google Forms with others. As a quick refresher, if you don't know how to get started with a new form, just navigate to this Google Apps icon, click on it, log into your Drive, and now select this new button up here at the top left corner of your screen. Click on it and then scroll down and select Google Forms. And that's going to give you a blank form to get started with. Another option which seems pretty straightforward to me is navigate to this Google Apps icon again, scroll down, and you will find your Google Forms right here. Click on it and then it will bring you to this home page. You can now select your new form right here, and you can also find templates from which to choose from. So let's go ahead and click on this blank form by clicking on this big plus button right here. Now the first thing we are going to do is give this form a title, and we can call it customer survey. Down below right here, you can also give it an additional description. For example, please just take 2 minutes to complete this form. Adding a description is not required, but it can be very helpful if you want to add some helpful text or instruction for those who will be viewing your form. So before we continue with adding a question, we want to take a quick look up here where it says untitled form. This is different from what responders will see. If I come up here and click on it, it will automatically grab the first thing that it sees here, which is customer survey. But remember, this is what it's going to look like for you. This is the file name and what will be visible within Google Drive. So perhaps I'm going to call this version 1 so that myself and my team can see this in our folder. Now let's go to the core of any form, and that is going to be adding our questions. There will be already one waiting for us, untitled question. Clicking anywhere within the question will give us more options like so, and also the ability to edit. Maybe I want to start by asking them what their name is, so I'm going to go in here and type first name. Google will try to be smart and identify the type of question that you are asking. You may have noticed that it just switched from a multiple choice question to a short answer. It's assuming that I just want a short piece of text. In this case, they are correct. I'm only asking for a first name. Over here in this drop down, I don't have to stick with this option that has been suggested by Google. I can change this to a paragraph or to any one of the options below. But for the first question, let's keep it as short answer. At the bottom right here, we have options available for every type of question. First, we have the option to duplicate a question. Since I'm going to ask for both a first name and a last name, this can be very handy. I'm going to hit this button right here, and now I've got the exact same short answer question below. All I need is to change the name to last name. Next to the copy icon is a trash can, which will delete a question. To the right of that, we have a required slider. This forces the user to answer a question before they can submit the form. Because I want their name, I'm going to make first name required by clicking on this slider right here, and I'm also going to make the last name required by clicking on the slider. Now both you and your responders will see a red asterisk beside questions that are required. At this point, I don't want you to just continue to duplicate short answer questions. Let's see how we can add other question types. Now coming over to this floating menu right here, notice the plus button. Click the plus button to add a new question where you last click. So in this case, perhaps I want to ask a multiple choice question, like say, what is your favorite type of fruit? Multiple choice is already selected, so I can now add different options. By clicking on option 1, I can enter the text orange and then hit enter to add the next option, which in this case would be mango, or you can click on this add option to add a third option, which in this case would be apple. If I want to change the order, I can come over here and then drag options to wherever I would want them to be. I can also add images beside options or remove any by clicking on the X symbol. Multiple choice questions also let you add an other option so users can have the ability to type in their own answer. Now in this video, we won't go through every question type right here. The first 5 on this list are fairly straightforward. Here in the middle section, we have a variety of different scales and grids in which we can choose from, and we can also allow respondents to choose a specific date and time. But one that I would want you to be familiar with is the file upload. If you want users to upload a document, image, or other file, choose the file upload by clicking on it. It will warn you that files will be stored in your Google Drive, and yes, it will count against my storage as well. For example, within the text field, I can ask people to please upload your signed agreement. I can allow only specific file types by clicking on this slider right here, and I can limit allowed file types like PDF or image. And you don't have to restrict a file type. You can restrict the number of files like 1 or 5 or 10 and set a maximum size, say 10 MB. And if you want people to upload video, you may have to extend this to an entire gigabyte. In the floating menu, we can also add an image, a video. We can also add a title or description. These aren't question types, but they are helpful for organizing your form. For example, you can add a video from YouTube for respondents to watch before answering questions. After selecting that option, I can go and search for a particular video on YouTube. After searching for a particular video on YouTube, you can click on it, select insert, and then I can give it a title if I like, and they can watch this video directly within the survey. Perhaps the most important option here is the ability to add section. If you have a long list of questions, rather than having a continuous scroll, you can break it up into sections. So for example, maybe I want to ask them their name first, but then I'd like to create a section before they get to their favorite fruit. I'm going to come over here and then add a section. And here you can see we have a new type of header. It's showing that the beginning of our survey is section 1 of 2, and down below is section 2 of 2. Here I can give it a separate title if I like, and then I can add additional questions. And of course, you can add as many sections as you desire. If you choose not to use sections, you can come over to the right here, select more, click on delete section, or you can merge this section to the above as it was before. Now that you know how to add a variety of questions, let's customize the design. Now click on the customize theme at the top right corner of your screen, and on the right hand side, it's going to give us some additional options. Number one, we can change both the text style and the text size for the header question. So for example, maybe for the header, I would like this impact right here for the title of the survey. And then for the questions themselves, I'd like them to stand out a bit more as well. So I'm going to use this Lexan, and then I'm going to say semi-bold. Now I like how that stands out on the screen. And maybe for the answer text, I'm just going to bump it up to 12 like so. So a lot of this is nice and customizable. Below the text here, we have the option to choose a visual header. By selecting choose an image, we can choose from one of the defaults right here, or we can upload from our computer. For this example, I'm going to choose this nice purple one because it goes well with the purple background. So when you click on it, go ahead and select insert. This could be another great opportunity to add your logo or other branding. Now you can change the color scheme as well. The default right here is purple, but you can go ahead and select your own custom color by clicking on this plus icon and selecting a shade that you prefer. Before publishing your form, you can preview it using the eye icon at the top right here. Now this opens a new tab where you can test your form. You can fill it out to ensure everything works as expected, the required questions, the layout, and so on. When you're in preview mode, you will not be able to select the submit button. Now to go back to the editing mode, you can simply come up here to the top left corner of your screen and then select this arrow. Once you're satisfied with your form, you can go up to the top right here and check your form settings. Now you can turn this into a quiz, and this is great for teachers. Under responses, you can choose if you want to collect email addresses or not by clicking on this drop down button and then selecting responder input. Do you want to allow to send responders a copy of their response? Of course, you need to collect email addresses in order to do that. Do you want to allow them to edit their responses after it's been submitted? And do you want to limit their responses to just one? These are all decisions that will vary from form to form. Under presentation, you can edit the confirmation message. Instead of the default which says your response has been recorded, you can just say thank you, and then you can select the edit link on the right hand side and customize it to sound more personal or aligned with your brand. Lastly, at the very bottom of the form, we have some defaults that will not apply to this form, but it will apply to other forms that you create in the future. So for example, maybe you always want to or always do not want to collect email addresses. You can choose that here, and you can also choose if you want want questions to be required by default. No matter what you choose here, you can always change each individual question, but these can be helpful settings useful for saving time later. When you're ready to publish, click the publish button at the top right corner of your screen, then choose whether anyone with the link can respond or restrict access to a specific people or groups. Now, in most cases, you are going to want to leave this as anyone with the link, because if you're using this as a survey, if you're sending this out via social media, you want as many people as possible to participate and answer your questions. But if you do want to restrict it to a much smaller subset, such as an internal team, you can select manage and then come over here and add the individual email addresses. In my case, I want to leave it as anyone with the link, and then I'm going to select the publish button right here. Now that's great, but how do I actually share it with others? Well, don't come up here and share this URL. No, we want to select this button once again and then select copy responder link. By copying this link here, we will get the link that we want to share with others. And if you want to make it a shorter URL, you can select this box, select copy, and now we can go to any of our browser tabs, and I'm going to paste it right here, hit enter, and this is what I would see if I was to receive this form. Also note, if you would like to stop receiving responses, click the publish button once again and then deselect the accepting responses slider right here. Finally, to review our responses, just on the right of question, you will see that we have received 3 responses. Now click on responses and you'll see a summary view. This summary view gives you a summary of all the responses. You also have a question view where you review the responses according to questions, and then you have the individual responses. You can just toggle on this arrow here to see the different responses for each individual. There's a bonus here. You can also link your data to Google Sheets here for further analysis by clicking on this link right here. So now that you know how to use Google Forms, what will you create next? And do you have any further questions? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching.